Raspberry Pi is a series of small single-board computers developed by Raspberry Pi Foundation along with Broadcom. Raspberry Pi Foundation is a British charity and company having an aim to promote the study of basic computer science in schools. Broadcom Incorporated is an American company. Raspberry Pi is quite popular in hobby electronics and amateur radio. Raspberry Pi supports HDMI and USB standards. First model was released in 2012. Raspberry Pi OS is a Unix-like operating system for the Raspberry Pi series. It has been the primary operating system for Raspberry Pi series since 2013. It is free and open source, distributed by the Raspberry Pi Foundation. Earlier generations of Raspberry Pi needed external Ethernet or Wi-Fi adapters for networking. Later, a built-in USB Ethernet adapter was included. Still later, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth support were added. Raspberry Pi 4 has full gigabit Ethernet support. Raspberry Pi 5 came in 2023. It is supposed to be twice as powerful as Pi 4, but it lacks a 3.5 mm audio-video jack. If you want to hear sound out of Pi 5, you can use Bluetooth, HDMI, USB audio, or an audio hat. Audio hat is a sound card hat designed for Raspberry Pi, which has low power consumption and supports stereo encoding and decoding. It features hi-fi playing and recording and can directly drive speakers to play music. HAT stands for Hardware Attached on Top, a type of add-on module for Raspberry Pi. Pi 5 has 4 GB and 8 GB RAM models, with higher cost for the latter as expected. There are also smaller versions of Raspberry Pi known as Raspberry Pi Zero, which was released in 2015, and Raspberry Pi Pico, released in 2021. Both have newer versions, with Raspberry Pi Zero 2W launched in 2021 and Raspberry Pi Pico 2 launched in August 2024. Popular SBTX radio is based on Raspberry Pi, while the new ZBTX QRP radio is based on Raspberry Pi Zero. Z comes from 0. Raspberry Pi Pico is a microcontroller. Radioberry is an HF transceiver board currently in its version 2 and beta release 5. It is an AD9866 Hermslite SDR, also known as Raspberry Pi SDR hat, for frequencies ranging from 1 to 30 MHz. The AD9866 chip, which is a 12-bit microcontroller, gives it one RX and one TX channel with a maximum bandwidth of up to 384 kHz. According to PA3GSB, it is an experimental board in its perpetual beta stage. Hampy, or Ham Radio Raspberry Pi, is an award-winning ham radio software distribution for the Raspberry Pi by W3DJS. Initially, it was known as W3DJS Raspberry Pi for ham radio. There are a lot of ham radio software available for us to use, like the radio programming software Chirp, AX25, the driver that allows the Raspberry Pi OS to communicate via AX25 protocol, Direwolf, the virtual audio terminal node controller, gpredict, used for satellite sparse prediction, WSJT-X, and so on. Hampy helps us in installing this popular ham radio software onto Raspberry Pi in a simpler way. It provides for a menu-driven installation with the Raspberry Pi connected to the internet. Needed softwares can be selected from the large list of ham radio applications. Hampy does the installation work after you select the softwares and answer a couple of questions like your call sign. In short, Hampy is a Raspberry Pi computer image file that has over 100 ham radio applications installed. A wiki is also available online for Hampy at github.com. Various package categories mentioned on the wiki include design and analysis software for antennas, digital mode applications like FT8, FT4 and Whisper, support for software-defined radios like RTL SDR and SDR Play SDR, APRS applications, logging software for logging QSOs and contests, and even an application for Morse code rig control and training.